Welcome, everyone. You are tuned into the famous Dwayne's podcast. Have a esteemed panel here, an august group of individuals. We got Mr. K, Mr. Couch Time himself. Say what up to the people.
Hello, everybody. It's Kavohn here, otherwise known as K, or my business name, which is Couch Time with K. You can follow my podcast and listen on Anchor.fm, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, whatever platform you like to listen on.
You ain't ask all that. I just said introduce yourself, nigga.
Listen, man.
You young niggas don't
He's trying
do
to
so
get it
much.
off.
Listen, man. It's free promo out here. You know what I mean?
All right. Up next we got Miss Hope. Say what up to the people.
Hey guys, how you doing?
AKA Mama Trinity and all that.
Yes.
And you know, a regular. She might as well damn near be my co-host, Miss Ajaya Divine. Say what up.
What's good? What's good in the hood, y'all? Y'all know me, Ajaya Divine. Probably be here next week too. I'm just playing.
Probably.
All right, so we have a very, very controversial but very on-time topic, and it is having a ceasefire to the gender war.
Yeah.
Now, when you say gender, I'm just playing.
I mean, you slick gotta clarify these days. So
in today's world, I need you to clarify exactly what you mean when you say gender. I'm just playing. I know what I mean. I don't.
And you can't be wrong either, or else they'll cancel you.
Man.
But does canceling ever really last?
If you get canceled by black
question.
people, it equals success.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not black.
Look, I'm just trying to stay out the wrong bathroom. That's it. I'm just trying to stay out the wrong bathroom. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
Shoot. That simpler times. Simpler times, man.
Oh man.
Actually, true story. I'm probably in, I think, either second or third grade, and I had walked into the room. I had to pee so damn bad, and I think I had walked into the wrong bathroom. And I used to call the urinals standards because that would used to say standard or whatever, but I used to say standard because I was young and retarded. And I was like, yeah, ain't no whatever. So I just do whatever. And I'm like, why is it pink in here? But I was like, yo, I got to pee, so I can't think right now. You know what I'm saying? And some girl pulled me aside. She was probably like a couple grades ahead of me. She goes, "You just went to the girls' bathroom. That's not okay." I'm like, my bad.
I was in a rush.
Yeah.
Yes. Emergency.
I has to pee. But anyway.
I have used the male bathroom as an adult woman. I have. I'm like, I am not waiting in that line. What's this male bathroom? What's this man bathroom look like?
Always long at the girls' bathroom.
I'm going to the men's bathroom, and no man has ever said anything to, even if there is a man in there, he has never even, half of them don't even see me because they like at the urinal doing their thing. I just sneak in, go into the stall, and they don't even know until I'm walking out. Then they double check the sign. Wait, am I in the right? Yeah, I'm in the right spot.
Oh, who that tall ass with the head wrap? Who that? But yeah, like, I mean, I've seen women, come into the bathrooms all the time. And it is what it is. Like, we're not gonna be, hey, stop. We don't really care.
Well, I feel like we're all there for a reason. We all got I'm not here to hang out. I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
We've got one goal when I come in here.
Yeah, I'm not trying to lure it around, the fart air and all that other shit. But I mean, my grandmother used to take me and my cousins to the women's bathroom with her because I mean we young, we like whatever, and niggas get snatched. I didn't realize what it was until like I got older. I was like, oh yeah, they do be kidnapping niggas around here.
Mm-hmm. They do.
So anyway, so yeah, the gender war. It seems to be a very concerted effort to put men against women. Right before I even got on this, I just saw another post about how black women are the most unprotected, disrespected, and all of that. And as two black women, I guess I want to hear your opinion on that because if I say anything, I'm a misogynist.
Oh Oh goodness.
I mean, go ahead, Hope.
I mean,
What
on
you-
that topic, I always feel like, the whole gender war stuff is really, really, really stupid at the end of the day. But if we're looking historically, it is kind of true. It's just not, I feel like when people just say that, Black women are unprotected, they're kind of coming from a place of not really understanding. It's become a mantra, and that's what I don't really like. It's become one of those things that you shout kind of like, Black Lives Matter, but it doesn't really mean anything because people haven't truly studied history. It doesn't make it any less true, but I don't really think even the women who are saying it really know what it means, like historically, like the witch trials, slavery, we can go very far back. It did start with women, Black women in particular, but I mean, a lot of these women and men don't actually know that because they don't really look past, what's in our history books. So it's really not about it being true. It's just the fact that when it's said, it's just kind of to, like we said, to pit us against each other. It's just a chant at this point.
And personally, I feel it is up to each individual person to protect their damn self, man,
especially these days.
or woman. Like, I'm not trying to play a fucking damsel in distress to be out here crying, like I'm the most unprotected, but I'm not a fucking victim. Like, I'm tired of women sounding like victims all the goddamn time. Like, stand the fuck up. You got ovaries, you good. Stand up, you straight. Like, you literally birthed the nation. You out here crying like a victim every time something happened, and like, listen, I can't get with it. Like, okay, so what? A man's not gonna protect you, and what? You gonna die? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
figure it out.
That's how you really feel. Like, Eric, we've been figuring it out. Like, hell, if you go to any of my family get-togethers, there might be 3 males, and only one of them might be actually over 18. Like, it's like, I mean, what are we talking about here? So, like, I get tired of the whole like victimhood of women are unprotected. We're the most unprotected. Because now you're casting a spell on yourself. You're making that true by continually saying it over. Okay, if that's the truth, that's what it has been historically. What do you do to protect yourself? Like, so I'm all for the women and the guns. I'm all for, I've been taking martial arts. Like, I'm all for that. All for that. Like, protect yourself then. Like, if that's how you feel, then do something about it. Like, don't just sit there and cry because nobody's gonna protect you. Like, that's weak. That makes everything that they say about women being the weaker sex true. When you sit there and cry and beg for somebody to protect you, like, my nigga, stand up.
Exactly. Like, I'm a firm believer of, I like blades, I like knives. I have a whole machete in this piece. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, like you said, a damsel in distress. I'm not gonna sit here and wait on somebody to save me. Just get it together.
I'm glad y'all said that. But to expound upon that, since you brought it up, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just funny because there's this whole call for equality, but I think it's just when it's convenient. Yeah. Because to be honest with you, nobody's protected. It's on you to protect yourself. You are your own responsibility, I would like to think. Right. So it's like, you want equality, you want this, you want that. You're talking about this empowerment stuff, but at the same time, you're emphasizing, the brilliance of what women are. So it's like, which one is it? Like, you're putting out mixed messages, which, I mean, women do that anyway. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like this is being orchestrated like this on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Like, because, I feel like it's really only, again, like this social media thing. Like, it's this social media thing because at the end of the day, like, if it's not I don't know, a lot of women have experienced things from men they knew and trusted. But as far as these randoms out here, I don't trust no random person to protect or help me. Like, that's not the reality we live in. So, like, I don't expect, would it be enjoyable? Would I find it like, yeah, that would be straight, that would be sweet. And that has happened. Like, I've seen random men like step in and do things to help protect women. But at the same time, like, I mean, I don't know. It's not that. I mean, just take care of yourself. Like, stop being weak. Stop seeing yourself as a victim. Yeah, shit happened to you, But like, why would you expect somebody you don't know to stand up for you, knowing the society we live in? Like, no, we know crime, we know all these things. So like, why are you expecting something different in the society you live in, and then like crying about it? Same way I feel about Black people and racism. Like, come on, like this is where we are. Deal with it.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like they're so out of touch with reality. And like you were saying, social media. Media is plural for the word medium. So these social media outlets that we use, they spread things so quickly, and no one ever is like, well, where's the source of this information coming from? Like, we just see all these videos popping up and nobody knows who recorded them. No one ever knows, and no one asks those questions, because it is a spell that's being cast through these media, this media, you know. So it just gets regurgitated, and then like I said, people are just saying it, don't even know why they're saying it. Like, I don't expect any stranger to defend me or protect me. Not in these days. No, it's too much going on. I don't know these folks, and they don't know me. They might have an agenda for protecting me in the first place. So why would I, you know, play damsel and beg in the streets and, you know, play Sleeping Beauty waiting for my prince? Like, no.
I blame
I'm
Disney.
time for that.
I blame Disney.
Yeah, I definitely do. Disney, Mario, all them niggas. But like, Princess Peach keep getting kidnapped. Like, I would have left her.
Listen.
You get kidnapped like every 6 months.
Kidnapped by the same guy. How Bowser keep hitting you, girl? Does Bowser have a tracker on you? Like, what?
But yes, like at some point, as just as a person, as a being, you have to be like, I gotta protect myself. Like, I gotta be like, I mean, just for your self-preservation. And then like, stop putting yourself in, and I know this is when I get called the victim blamer, so I'm gonna just jump right in there and say it. Stop putting yourself in compromising situations and then get mad when somebody take advantage of you. Like, you put yourself in a compromising position. Does that mean it's right that they did it? No, but that's the consequence when you put yourself in that position. Like, no, you shouldn't really be going out and getting drunk around people you don't fucking know. That's probably not a good decision. Should you be raped? No. Should anything happen to you? No. But understand the consequences of your actions. Like, you got to be held accountable for your own actions and your own safety and your own all of that stuff. So like, no, it shouldn't happen, but be smarter. Like, if you know that you are in a certain situation and your safety is your first priority, then be smarter. Like, what was the thing? I should be able to sit naked in the front room and no man should touch me. Okay, yeah, that's cool. But
that's not really.
You do that shit? Yeah, like, what? Well, why are you naked in this front room if you don't want him to touch you?
First of all, like, get your ass cheeks off my furniture.
Yes.
Spreading this boo air, like, no, come on now. Like, why are you naked? And why would you be naked in a man's room? Living room? And it's not want anything physical to do with him. Like, do we not understand who the male is?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like they want to test them to see how far they can go. I don't know. I don't even know. Those whole scenarios are like, but you're not really gonna do that though.
And if you did, why did you do that? Like, I don't know.
I've heard, you know, I've read, and I've experienced this as well, that women will naturally test you to make sure that you are who you say you are. They test your character. Now, you know, there's levels to that, obviously. And some people take it to the next level. And, you know, I mean, luckily I've never had a situation where I was like, yo, this is kind of suspect or whatever. Like, I'm quick. Like, if you say maybe, I'm like, it's a wrap. Like, get out of here. Like, nah, nope. Like, so, and that's just how I was brought up. And, you know, going back to the damsel of distress thing, like, you know, back in the day, you know, it was a kind of a community effort with, like, if someone had like a domestic situation, like, you know, you would at least be like, yo, get out of here with that. Or, you know, somebody might step in, but then that's another way that, like, niggas be getting lined up. Like, your girl be acting like you're about to have a fight just so they can piece you up.
But that's the whole thing about community. these random people out here are not your community. Every
No.
Black person is not your community. Every Black man is not. You actually have to build your community and your village to expect protection from them. Like you just out here like, I don't know this random Black dude, just like I don't know this random white dude or this random whoever. I don't know you. I don't know what your values are. I don't know what your history is. I don't know what kind of trauma and triggers you got. I don't know anything about you. But just because your skin is dark, I feel like you're supposed to have my back. Like,
save me, nigga. Save me.
Like, I can't believe you just sat here and let me. And then when you go back to that domestic violence thing, if we're in a community and y'all dealing with this, we know what this is. We know she's gonna get back together. We just need to come, let y'all cool down. Y'all gonna go back. Nobody, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. She gonna stay. That's what he do. They seem to be happy 3/4 of the year. You know what I mean?
Mind my business. Yeah.
Let's just make sure it don't escalate too far and then send them on their way. You know what I mean? Like send them on their way and they be back together tomorrow. Like if it's a community, then you can start to learn people's cycles and you can keep stuff from getting too out of sorts. But at the end of the day, it is still up to the individual to protect themselves and not to put themselves back in the same situation to be abused or taken advantage of or misused or whatever.
Mental illness is running too rampant to just be expecting like everyone to be your kin. It's too folks got too much stuff going on.
Yeah.
Too much stuff going on.
Like you just gotta learn like from certain experiences that you just need to like love certain people from afar. Like if that's the case, like
man,
like, and that's what I really had to learn, like just in my life. A lot of people, because like I've tried to be that guy that's like the kin for all Black folks, but I realized that I've done it to like my own detriment sometimes. And I'm like, dang, like what can I really do? And at the end of the day, I realized that there's really nothing I can do. That's between them and God, or like whatever they believe in, and like them and their people. Like, or if I'm one of the people, I'm just gonna stay over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'll help you if you come over here. Like if you come over here, like you really ready for some help, okay? But I'm not running to I'm not running to the rescue. Like I'm not, because hell, you seen the story where the guy tried to help a woman who the dude was hitting on her and they jumped him.
Yeah, like, I remember that.
Mind your business.
Linked them up.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, because most people in domestic violence situations, what you're seeing is not the first time and it will not be the last time. So like what are you getting involved in? Like what are you really like jumping in for? I'm not saying let nobody kill nobody or whatever, but like
you
it's
gotta
a
think
scuffle,
about
they
you.
argue, and you gotta really evaluate the situation. Like now, if somebody's actively trying to escape and run, okay, that might be one thing. But most of the time, it's just like the woman is just saying like, "Oh, stop," but she ain't really trying to like get away. You know what I mean? Like just because hell, you can get away. You know what I mean? Like you can, but you going right back home. We all like it's sad, but it is a reality. Like it's a reality, and then we want to be sad when this time he killed her. Well, how many times did she go back and tell him that her life wasn't valuable, that she didn't value herself by continue to go back and put herself in that situation? Now he takes it a step further. Now, oh no, that was so horrible. It had been horrible that whole time, and she accepted that. Does that mean she should be dead? Then when you start saying that, they're like, oh, you're victim. No. Does that mean somebody should be dead? No. But if we're really trying to solve a problem, putting it off on the perpetrator is dumb. The rapist, the woman abuser, all those people, they don't care.
Yeah.
So to expect them to change to protect you is dumb. Like, come on now. Let's really wake up here. Like, can we be intelligent? Can we be intelligent? Can we be intelligent, please? Like, and like I said, I only hear this stuff on social media.
Yeah, like the teach men not to rape or teach rapists not to rape. Do you hear yourself? How about leave them alone?
I can't stop raping. It's what I do.
Yeah, but it is only like on social media. I don't hear people have these conversations in real life. Like I I
Like,
don't
because
know.
no woman is out here walking out in the middle of the night being like, nobody do nothing to me. Everybody should protect me. No, you're not out here doing that. You are not out here doing that unless you are being reckless, under the influence, or something.
Right.
Like, out here trying to get some midnight dick. Like, you put yourself in that situation.
And I've seen situations. I remember like my last birthday, which I partied that whole week because black. And I remember seeing like some white girl that was just like smacked. Like she was just like leaning up against the wall like this and like, poking her would-be butt out and all of this.
I would be, but
her ass,
tailbone.
Yeah, her aspiring ass. But and I'm just like looking like what is like this is a booby trap. Like,
man,
what I mean?
It's a setup. It's a setup.
So, and I'm not sure who else, unless you're also like that, then or maybe less like that, but not as to that degree. Then maybe that looks like something. But I don't know. Like I don't know who kind of does that. Like on a regular.
Rapists. Like people who are gonna do that, they're out there.
They're gonna do it.
They're looking for targets. They're literally looking for targets. Like,
and the thing that I wonder is like, I don't know any women that party by themselves.
Yeah. If your friends let you to, I mean, they're probably trash friends. Like, because I've had some friends like that we would go together and then they would get so drunk that they would just kind of go do their other thing. And I was like, you know what? I cannot play babysitter. Like, it's one friend at the time, this is like freshman year of college, she would literally run. Like, she would get drunk and just start running, like hauling tail throughout the party, and I'd be having to walk around and trying to find her. Like, have y'all seen so and so? She looks like this, and like, oh, she just went that way, and then she just started taking niggas drinks and just start drinking whatever was offered to her. And I was like, see, this is putting my life at risk, and I'm not anybody's mama. I have no children, so I'm not gonna sit and spend the whole time babysitting. But no, we don't tend to go to parties alone. But at the same time, with a situation like that, you can't put yourself at risk because you got these dangerously ill people in your life.
So I'm not sure. I'm not assuming that y'all got whole friends, but if y'all do, or your friends your friends that got whole friends, like when they go out for like a one night stand, which I'm assuming it may be premeditated, it may not be, I don't know. But I'm gonna wait for this plane to pass. Things are going back to normal, I guess. Anyway, like, what's the rationale? Do they wake up like, yo, I'm about to get some dick tonight, some strange dick I ain't never had before? Like, is that a thing? I was like, yo, like sis, don't wait up for me.
Oh my goodness.
You see me disappear with somebody, just let me go.
I mean, I will say that I've seen many of women get a little looser when they get some drink in them. You know what I mean? They start getting liquored, and all of a sudden they feel a little looser, a little friendly. Like I personally, I don't know anyone who like went into. Now I know that happens. I don't know anyone that like went into like the bar like tonight. I'm bringing somebody home tonight, or I'm going home with some. I've never experienced that from a woman. Now, if it's somebody who's known prior and they know they're gonna be there, well then I'm going home with him tonight. Like, because they have like a previous relationship or a previous something, yes. But like just a random, I can't speak for that. Like, I can't speak for that. But that's I mean, but again, that is your freedom to do that. But understand the risk that you are taking when you do that, and then don't turn around and be like, the black man's not protecting me. Like, because you put yourself in a dumbass situation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not adding up. It's just like I say, with mental illness, like you are not thinking straight. Like you are not using your common sense. Like you can't suspend common sense and then be like, somebody should protect me while I was being stupid. And that's not to say that everything that a woman can get snatched up off the street and raped with just minding her own business. Like, those are real situations and real things. So then it's like, you have to protect yourself. Like, we know the trauma that is going on in the Black community. So to assume that Black men are going to be in a state to protect you is silly. Like, we know we know what's happening to the Black man. Like, we literally know it. So to expect him to be in a state to protect you is silly. Like, everyone has to be in a state to protect themselves. Like, it sounds silly to me. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's cool. It's a nice little fairy tale if you want to believe it. But if we know the trauma that's going on in our community, and we know the poverty, we know all the crime, we know all of that, what are we talking about? What are you talking about? And the ones that do are the exception. That is the exception. The ones that do are the exception. Like, when we start to function in truth and what the facts are, we could, like, we'll stop half of this shit from happening before it even happened when we start looking at the facts of it.
So, Kavohn, how these women be tripping out here in these streets, man?
You want to know my perspective?
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't know. I'm not really a mixy guy like that nowadays, but
So when you were a mixy guy,
I'm gonna say nowadays.
nah, I never really was a mixy guy like that, but
Like, well, what do you think about what we're saying though? It's since you wasn't mixy. Like, do you feel like the responsibility should be taken off Black men?
I mean, I feel like I agree with you saying. Like, it is important for like you to hold yourself accountable for like the situation that you put yourself in and how drunk you get yourself in environments that like you don't originally feel comfortable in the first place. You know what I'm saying? You just got to use your logic first and foremost. But then, like, obviously the people around you, like dickheads and shit like that, like you got to be worried for those as well. And I feel like if, as a Black man, like if you do see a situation that looks a little funny, that looks a little I don't know, like me personally, like I'll keep my eye on it, but I'm not really gonna intervene in too many people's situations because at the end of the day, like I only know like what I can see. I really don't know people like on a personal level like that because I only know the people that I go out with. You know what I mean? So like when I go out with other people, I hold them down. So like like I'm not letting, if I'm going out with like a few of my female friends, like I'm not letting no guy like just come up and be disrespectful, nothing like that. Like as like I don't bang with that. I don't like that. Like I'm not really the type to get loud or anything, but I'll keep my eye on the situation. Like I keep a protective eye like over everybody that I'm around. I feel like, and I think that's the most important thing, or like the easiest thing that you can do as a Black man, like for any woman, but especially Black women in like today's day and age, like being over sexualized and underappreciated and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now women can have expectations for men in their circle. So yes, if it's a man in your circle, in your social thing, yes, he should absolutely be protecting you. Yes, he should absolutely be doing all of that shit if he's in your circle. And if he's not, then get him out. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? 100%. Like if it's a man in your circle that you have, yes, anybody in your circle you should expect to do that for him. But like random Black men, like
no.
Like, come on.
Yeah. Because like all skin folk ain't kinfolk. That's just how it is.
At all.
And it's really sad to see, and that disappoints me more than anything. Like that, like we can't like come together and just like just at least try and love each other, because that's a sign that you don't really love yourself. Somebody that look like you. You know what I mean? That's what I would say.
I don't think that it should be disappointing, only because we literally aren't all necessarily related. Like Black people are from everywhere all over the world. Yeah. So we gotta and that's, again, it's not to say hatred. You can always be cordial. So no, there shouldn't be this outward hatred for each other. But we aren't all from the same place. We're all from different places all over the world. So like what Ajaya was saying about, having your own personal community, absolutely. The people that you choose in your life should be protecting you. When I would go out to certain parties and whatnot, I would make sure I had 1 or 2 homeboys with me that would be there in case some shit went down. But it's the reason why I don't get sad about it anymore, or, seeing not division, that's not the word I want to use, but I don't have the expectation that everyone should be protecting everyone these days, because we aren't all from the, same places. We're finding out that a lot of the natives on this land, were Black, that they literally changed the pictures as recent as 100 years ago. So, we have our different tribes, our different blood groups, our different haplogroups and things like that. So no, it's not that you walk around, hating everyone that doesn't look like you, but everyone that looks like you isn't your kin, quite literally. But again, that doesn't mean that you need to go out of your way to hate them or show them animosity, because it doesn't have to be like that either. But also understanding, we say all skin folk and kinfolk, but I don't feel like sometimes we don't understand what that actually means.
Yeah.
I guess to some extent.
Like, how long were dark-skinned people at war with each other before the Albion came along? Like, this is not new. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't paradise. Like, it was not paradise before white people came along. And then we always talking about the Black woman being this, and that. White men rape and do all the same shit to white women too. So why aren't they like, we're the most unprotected? You know what I mean? Like, why do Black women want to take that on? You know what I mean? Like, why do you want it? Why do they pushing Black women to take on this victim mentality?
And
because
I want to know who first put that in the air.
Yeah, because it is a spell. It's a spell, and we chant it. And it's crazy because we probably, we are the most powerful. So we went from thinking of ourselves on this, higher elevated level to being like, oh my God, we're, this and that and that. And, it might, like I said, be relevant, but why would you keep telling yourself that? It's like the dudes who record, white people being racist and being like, why don't you care about us? Why do you care about them caring? If you don't beat that nigga at, like, why are you recording this man shouting nigger at you? What? And begging him, grown men, bruh, and begging them to accept you. Okay, so he accepts you. What changes here? What's the end result?
Please, Mr. White Man, give me my freedom.
Like,
and then this whole equality thing, Lord have mercy, like, we want to be, you are equal. Like, and then what equality for me, like, it don't even mean like you're equal. It just means you have the same opportunities. Like, you got the same chance to do certain
that's what it means legally.
Like, according to your skill set and your skills, you got the same opportunity. You just got your gifts, use them, blah, blah, blah. Like, to say like, I don't know, it's like this abstract idea of like equality, like men and women are equal, and it's like, okay, like, but men are still on average stronger than women. Like, does that mean they're equal? You know what I mean? Like, what when you like, are you trying to really equate like bar for bar, like, well, we can do this and they can do that too?
Yeah.
Like, or what are we talking? Like, stand in your strength. Like,
what it really boils down to is that this whole equality thing is taking away from the fact that each different demographic of person has a strength. Like, everybody has it. They talk about straight male privilege and whatever. Like, I can't just walk into like a coffee shop and use my, my boyish good looks and get a free drink from a male, whatever.
This is true. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's true. And it's like, at this point, it's like, when they, like, you want the privilege without everything comes with a flip side. Everything has a polarity. So if there's a privilege to being a woman, then there is going to be a downside to being a woman. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, it's not going to all be sunshines and rainbows. So once you know what the downside or what the, so-called weakness or your vulnerable spots are, protect that. Like, this is the art of war, like, for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, once you know, okay, well, I'm going to use my privilege over here, but I know I'm weak over here, so let me go. You know what I mean? Like, let me be tight around this stuff. Like it's just like, oh, you want to be just a crying baby in the middle of the floor, and you want somebody to pick you up and protect you. Like, you're a whole adult, woman. Like, you're a whole adult that is either has children or is gonna have children, and now if you unprotected, then you having children that you can't protect. And that you don't even think you can protect. So why are you having children?
With a nigga that can't protect you.
Exactly. and
That
has never
too.
protected you. And I might be speaking to my goddamn self, but that's okay.
Anyway, use protection.
But it's like, and then you stupid. Look, number one, well, I don't want to say, well, I'm not really for condoms, but for those who believe in them, you do believe in them, but you're not using them. That's your first form of protection. If you don't believe in them, then that's one thing. But half of these women out here not protecting themselves with condoms, believe in condoms. So like, you're not even protecting yourself in a way that you know you can, or you feel in your mind you can. Like, you putting your heart on the table and getting mad when somebody fucking smash it. Like, did he say that he was gonna be careful with that? Did he prove that he was ready for that? Did he show you any, or you just feel like you should be able to expose your most vulnerable spots and and expect nobody to just stab you in it? Yeah, like come on, like I cannot. And if we look to nature, who is the protector of the children? Mama Bear, the lion.
Yeah.
Those are the people who protect the children. Like at the end of the day, I mean, we are a part of the animal kingdom. So if we're looking at nature, we're talking about the woman is the protector of the children.
And
like,
the teacher.
And the teacher and all of that stuff. Like, so who are you expecting to protect you? You might be out of alignment with nature.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Shit.
Like, I mean, cause what they say, the mama bear don't mess with the mama bear. Like that's who they scared when you in the forest. They be like, hey, don't fuck with mama bear. Like you don't want them kind of troubles.
Leave them cubs alone.
The fat friend that's that's like looking over everybody to call a mother hen. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing.
That's real. Like that's real stuff. Like everybody be like, we hating on like the so-called fat friend or the ugly friend that feel like she always like hating and trying to. That's the protector. Like that's and it's funny because that's the one that men hate the most. But why? Because they're fucking predators. If you hate that friend, that makes you a predator. If you hate the friend that's always checking on her, making sure she ain't going nowhere, that means you don't give a fuck about her if you hate that friend.
Oh yeah. And most times the girl isn't even ugly. She's just not available to the guy. So
and not friendly and not smiling.
Exactly. So they feel like, oh, well, I can't get in with her and she cock blocking with the other friends. Man, fuck that bitch. And all the little stuff that they say because they can't get their way.
Because they're predators.
Exactly. That's what it is. It's a predator mindset. And it's sick.
Yeah, like because then at the end of the day, if you show yourself to be, a decent person, that's all gonna fall away. You know what I mean? Like you should be happy that this woman got somebody who got her back. Like, you good? Where you going? Who is that? Where you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that means that she's probably a good friend herself. If she's got a friend that's doing that for her, then y'all want to do all this stuff and then cry about having raggedy ass bitches as baby mamas. Like, well, wasn't nobody taking care of her or trying to protect her in the thing? That probably spoke to her character too. Like, it's symbols and signs out here to be read for everybody. Like, so
damn.
Listen.
Shit, just take over the whole show. Damn. So
I told you this is my one right here. This is my one.
You going for 81 tonight? So yeah, I mean, everyone has their privileges. Women typically get the benefit of the doubt. As far as men, I mean, no one really cares. It's just about I guess we get say so. Like, what's really our privilege? I guess we get taken more seriously in society in certain aspects, but then sometimes we don't when it comes to like emotional stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. Everyone has their strengths and what they do, and it's really on you to find your strengths. Before that, it's on your parents to notice those strengths in you and help cultivate that. And honestly, like babies know that off rip. They know if I cry a certain way at a certain octave, I'm gonna get this X, Y, and Z. If I just do, they going, like, yo, shut up. So doing this little experimentation, I'm gonna realize that I can do this. Oh wow, everyone keeps saying I'm cute. I can do whatever I want. So, and that's what they do. They test you. Even like dogs do that. Like, Kavohn's old dog, R.I.P. You know what I'm saying? Like before she would shit, before she was shit in the corner, she would be like, she look over like this.
bro. It's not even just that. Like you could leave your plate. Like you could leave your plate on a TV stand, like on a little TV stand. Get up for 2 seconds and she's plotting on it. Like the minute you get up, and then like after she's halfway eating it, she's looking at you like, "What you mean? Like you got up? Like I thought that was mine. Like
You left it abandoned.
yeah, like
Yeah. So
crazy."
if a dog can notice that, how can people not do that? Are we?
You have it.
There's a bitch joke in there somewhere, but I'ma chill.
Okay.
But seriously, like it's like, why do we think so lowly of ourselves in this era of 2020? Have we devolved that much? Like, what's going on here? Like, how will we? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. Like, they wasn't talking about this kind of stuff, to this degree like that before until I think somebody put the bug in somebody's ear.
Mm. I mean, you just gotta really love yourself. Like a lot of people will ask me, what do you do about this? What do you do about that? And I'm like, honestly, don't worry about it. Worry about you. And they're like, what? How does that solve anything? And I feel like people just want to argue, honestly. And it stems from not loving yourself. It stems from not wanting what's best for yourself. And people don't even realize it because they shout these automatic responses and they have so many triggers and they're not sitting there asking, well, why do I feel this way? Why do I hate this thing that I really don't know anything about? Why am I saying this? Like even with Black Lives Matter, if you tell folks, okay, the movement is funded, it's not, what you think it is. Oh, so you telling me, no, I'm not saying anything outside the facts. People don't like hearing truth in general. And it stems from them not loving themselves. Like I got to a point where, you have to realize that truth doesn't have to be offensive. You don't have to take it personally. It just is. If you don't want to believe that, these things that you're being told to pay attention to are fake or are funded or are pushed in your face, then fine, you don't have to. Spread yourself out thin, worrying about every little thing and letting yourself suffer. Like Kay said earlier, he realized that he was putting himself in the forefront of these situations and letting himself suffer. Why give so much of yourself away and then you're not replenishing yourself either? And it really is that simple. And I think people don't like simple answers. I think people like complicated answers. So when you tell them, love yourself, focus on you, they're like, but the cognitive dissonance starts beaming.
Now I gotta take responsibility for my own shit. And I'm not trying to do that. Like, I'm not trying to fucking heal. And then if we gonna talk, now they always talk about all these single mothers in the Black community. So who are fucking raising these rapists then? The woman? Okay, y'all want to talk about that? Why are women raising rapists?
Damn, you cooking with fish grease now.
With fish grease. And you gotta, with having babies too, because my uncle had told me to this in one of our conversations, folks gotta understand whether they want to believe it or not. Sex is an energy exchange. And forget the whole, soul tie shit. It is quite literally a chemical energy exchange. This isn't, science, pseudoscience, metaphysical. It is an energy exchange. So if you're coming together with someone and you're procreating and yes, foolish, and you're coming together with someone and the energy is not good, like you're people who have babies to save marriages, for example, and you're wondering why the child that you birthed is a terror. You might have literally had a baby with a rapist or a child molester. Like, I don't know if y'all were on Twitter when all of the different, schools and people were coming out talking about their abusers from past times. And there was this one girl who basically was married to a serial abuser. And I'm sitting there like, boy, them children, because they're young and they don't know. They're not on Twitter to see that their daddy's being outed as this and that and these and those. But you have that spirit in you. You procreated with that spirit. And unfortunately, that is a very real thing. People don't want to believe it because that goes back to accountability. But you laid down with this person you don't know, or you did know, even worse. But because you wanted this person for whatever reason, you didn't love yourself, you thought a baby could love you, variety of reasons why people have babies that they shouldn't have. But that's why you got all these, latchkey spirits running around and all of these, children that are just, bad as shit at like 3 years old, and you don't know why.
So, I think the women are dominating the conversation. Like they're
We
winning
going,
the
look,
gender
you
war
know
right
why?
now.
Because we're only winning because we're going hard on the women. We haven't even addressed men yet. Except for if the man is in your circle. That's the only man you should expect something from. Is the man in your circle. Any other man, you know what I mean? Like, and you didn't get no victims over here. You know what I mean? You didn't bring no victim women on your podcast, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
I
so,
tend not to associate with those kind of people because
There you go, your circle.
yeah. So yeah, that's kind of always been the case. I ain't never dated no girl that can't fight. That don't have no street smarts and like that. Like I can't.
Cause she'll put you in a compromising situation, like Kay said.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
They will put
Yeah.
you
will
in
set you
compromised
up.
Yes, and then you out here looking dumb, assed out, done went to jail for some nigga she laid up in the bed with the same night. Like we not like no.
Yeah, I risked my freedom once for somebody, and she got back with the nigga the same day. Now it wasn't my choice.
Yeah.
It was a family member, somebody that she was cool. She's like she really puts on and everything like that. She's well respected, but that particular person that she chose was not the best, and we pulled up on him, did what we did,
Correct.
and yeah. It's kind of a funny story too, but I can't.
Then she put ice on him, like, oh baby, they beat. Oh damn.
Oh man, you good?
Like,
let me make you some cocoa.
Like next weekend, it was like, yeah, they chilling again. I'm like, I'm done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and women don't like to talk about those stories when they talk about men not protecting women. You know what I mean? Like they don't like to talk about those stories, and they don't like to take responsibilities for all the times they went back and had protection, and then a man is like, I'm through with this. I'm not gonna keep doing this. And then the shit escalate further, because that's another thing that abusers do is they isolate you. They isolate you from people to help you. So like you done sat and let yourself be isolated, and you done betray the men that actually really do care and are there to protect you, and then you want to cry victim later. Like, what are we talking about? Like, because we're not talking about fathers molesting you. We're not talking about grandparents. We're not talking about immediate family, people that you are really supposed to, that you are supposed to trust and whatever doing that. Like, we grown ass women, you talking about, most of the time they're talking about randos. They're not talking about their family. You know what I mean? You talking about random men in the street. Like, it just don't make sense.
Yeah. Like even, and this is probably going to get me canceled, but I don't care. The young lady that got murdered, I think it was last weekend or the weekend before. It was a Monday, because Mondays aren't
that African girl.
Yeah, the African girl.
Oluwatoyin Salou.
Yes. Thank you. See, that's shout out to the young.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're seeing.
Story?
She was an activist. She was on the front lines and stuff like that. I do remember her saying Black Trans Lives Matter and all this other stuff. And, apparently there was tweets about, yeah, I'm over here marching for the people that, don't care about me and whatever.
Okay.
Which, that does kind of seem like there's a bit of a spiteful energy. But, that doesn't warrant what her fate was.
Right.
But, somebody was letting her stay with them. I guess he was like some sort of preacher or something like that. Or he was like, had keys to the church. And he took advantage of her, and then she was found dead with somebody else. And my thing was like, I'm seeing her with these videos with people around her, and it's like, so what happened at the end of that? Because apparently she was homeless. She had like, a troubled childhood and stuff like that. And it's just like, so where are her friends? Where, like, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, where's the sense of community? So we all just gonna march, and after that, it's like, all right, we out. And I always, I always compare like these marches and stuff like that to have a church where like you just go out, you have a good time, and then you leave. But even in that situation, even in a church situation, like, yo, you good to get home? Whatever. Like they'll at least like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just from a different era, but that's how I was raised. We walk into the door, you make sure she gets in, turns on the lights, and then we pull off. Like,
right.
No, that's not. You know what? Because women aren't teaching their boys to do that because they're not requiring that of the men in their life. Even if you don't have a father in the home, if you are dealing with men, you have to make them treat you how you want your son to treat somebody. So if you're not holding men to that standard in your life, your son is not going to have that standard for women in his life. And it just gets further and further and further. And we end up here. You know what I mean? I'm all for taking accountability. So it's like, if you're not expecting that from men, then your son is not going to give that to women. And then he's going to raise a son that's even further away from that becomes disassociated from the women, that's going to try to pick up the chick that's looking like that. He's going to have that predatory spirit. Like,
word. And it's funny because I've kind of always wanted to have a conversation with an unapologetic rapist, just to pick their brain, like, what is your thought process? But it's always going to be somebody that's just like somebody that plays the fence, that says kind of things, that kind of tells himself, but doesn't like say it fully, doesn't own it. Which means they know that it's wrong if you're not owning it. You know what I mean? So it's just like, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it doesn't even have to just be something as, extreme as rape. Like, I had to deal with a situation with this dude who he did something foul. I'm not even going into the details of it because it's not even for this platform, but he did something foul. And when, we approached him and was just asking him questions about what was going on, didn't own up to anything, just kept doing the, circling the fence, repeating what he said, but what he said really didn't answer the question as to why, they did what they did. And that's just how after a while, you just understand that like I said, mental illness is rampant. It is rampant out here. So people really aren't in control of their actions, and they don't want to heal, and they don't want to take accountability because they're just doing things so impulsively. And they intentionally surround themselves with people who also will not keep them accountable either. And they call that their friends. And if you do call them out on their shit, then all of a sudden it's, oh no, bro, you was disrespecting me. No, my guy, you just never had anyone tell you that what you're doing is wrong. That's all it is. And it still circles back to accountability. So even if you went as extreme as asking, serial rapist, like, why do you, because I think they do like interviews like that in jail sometimes, and the guy, he don't ever have a right answer, or excuse me, not a right answer, a straightforward answer. It's just on some, I just did it because I did it. And it's like, okay.
It's just a lower vibe. Like, it's just pure, almost like animal instinct mixed with the mental, you know what I mean? The dissociation from the what you're actually doing. You know what I mean? Like, it's it's addiction to the high. Like, it's all of this stuff. It's easy. Like, sometimes it's exactly easy. It's easy. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy. It's hard to actually like court a woman and show that you worth the shit. If you're not worth the shit, like, it's hard to do that shit. It doesn't. So how can I trick my way into some benefits here? Like, that's what we're looking at. It's like, how can I trick my way into some benefits or get something out of this that she really don't want to give up? You know what I mean? Like, so that's when you got to know yourself and know your boundaries to know, I'm not doing that shit. I'm not going there. You're not going to go here. And women have not set boundaries. They just expect people to protect you. And you ain't even got no boundaries. Like, hey, you might like getting drunk and just going home with random men. You might actually enjoy that. I don't know. You know what I mean? You ain't set no boundaries. So how's a stranger supposed to know your boundaries?
Yeah.
Like,
I done see more than a few posts on Facebook, women, talking about, they looking forward to trains and stuff like that, or like they had the picture like maybe like three, like maybe like people like on the football team, or like, a bunch of like three dark skinned shirtless niggas, and just like, did somebody hear a train coming? You know what I mean? So it's just like, and I really think, we've all been like fed this hypersexualization of things, from a youth, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're dizzy with the subliminal messages and stuff like that, to just being like super overt with like rap music and stuff like that. Like back in the day, like being a hoe was something that you were like ashamed of. Like that was like this, like the whore, like the town whore and the junkie were like one and the same. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone knew who they were, but like you wasn't trying to be seen with that person.
Right. And then everybody would like, I think that's what Hope was saying. Like, when you own up to the stuff, if you own up to the, you know what I mean? If you a whore, be a whore and live in that. But like, don't do whorish things and then get mad when you have to reap the consequences of them, or you get to a certain, you get in a situation that you was like, oh fuck, I don't want to be here. You know what I mean? Like as a me, like what 2.5 years ago, like went on a date. Like I mean, like I'm grown as fuck. Like I know better. Like I know I had the thought in the car. So we go out, we hang out, all this stuff, blah 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 blah. We end up driving to different spots. I don't know. I think maybe he's trying to avoid his baby mama or something, because we went to like 3 different spots, and I was like, "Ooh, this is not a good sign." But I'm chilling in the car, like I'm just really want to roll. You know what I mean? Like I'm high, I'm good. Like we're rolling around, and he's like, "Man, it's late. It's like 4 a.m. Why don't you just come back to my spot?" I was like, "Ain't no grown ass man. Like I know what you're trying to do." But like I didn't drive, so I was just like, do whatever. He's like, let's stop and get some food. My ass was hungry, so I was like, bet. So we get there. Of course, he's like, I ain't gonna do nothing. Of course, he tries, blah blah blah. I'm like, no, I'm good. Nah, it's straight. Like everything is cool. He kept persisting on like giving me head. I'm like, hey, listen, I ain't gonna stop you if that's what you want to do. But I already knew what was next. Like I already knew what was gonna happen. And at one point, I was just like, man, if he just really was like, fuck that, I'm taking it. I'm stuck. Like, he's stronger than me. Like, I was not in martial arts yet. I didn't know, I took like one self-defense class, and I was just like, I put myself in this situation. Shit, it didn't happen. Like, no, you know what I mean? He was just like, man, that's fucked up. You know what I mean? But like, at one moment, I was like, man, this is how this happens. Like, this is how rape happens right here. Because I really don't know this man like that. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm here in his house, like, why the fuck would I come to his house at 4 o'clock in the morning? Like, like all these things are going through my mind. And it's like, that's how this shit happens. You know what I mean? Like, and if that would have happened, I was already prepared to eat that. You know what I mean? I was prepared to like take that one on the chin. Like, man, my nigga, you set yourself up real nice. Like, and I think that's where women have to go with, is like, where are you allowing yourself to be victimized? Where are you leaving yourself open? And has this person proved that they are responsible and they are worthy of protecting you? You know what I mean? Like,
I will say this, because I don't think I've heard anybody say this, but being a hoe is dangerous.
Very dangerous. Prostitutes get murdered the most. Those are women that get murdered the most.
Yeah. And music is a spell that I feel like people kind of undermine. Like the music that we chant, you'll be in a hole, let me get all these bitches, threesomes and shit like that. And then when it actually started happening, it was just funny because niggas got mad. Niggas got mad when women wanted to start being hoes. Niggas got mad when, girls started being gay. But I was like, but y'all was chanting it in these songs. Y'all was like, oh, I want my bitch to have a bitch. But when it actually started happening, you're like, oh, what's wrong with these women, this and that. But y'all were chanting the songs that in reinforce these concepts. So now you're mad that they're actualizing themselves. But you was cool when it was a song. You was cool when you was bopping your head in the radio, in the car, and then, you're mad when everything that you were singing about came to be, and I always find that very, very interesting,
Bitches ain't supposed to have bitches. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Anyway, about to get me jammed up on this shit. But that is very true, and just thinking on the male standpoint, music, rap in particular, like it was about having a good time. One of these songs, which my dad said is the greatest rap song ever. Well, he said that about a lot of shit before, like 1980, whatever. But it's a song, I think it's called DJ Mastodon Funk Rock Box, whatever. And they had like a call and response kind of thing, and it was just like, if you got a girl and she the best female in the whole wide world, say my girl is the best. Ain't nobody saying that now.
No, man.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just
that's simp shit now.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because why would I ever have a girl that I hold in self-esteem?
Yes. Why would I ever love a woman? Like,
that's why I think I did a rant one time where I was like, all this like the whole bitch stuff. I was like, you niggas is homosexual. You just not sexual. You just not sexually active with men. You know what I mean? Like, but like
you
as
niggas
far
is
as
gay.
you niggas gay as hell because y'all really hate women. Like you hate women, but you just like to have sex with them. But as far as that, like you really hate women. So like, if it wasn't taboo to have sex with your homeboy, you would do that shit. Like, cause y'all hate women.
Oh yeah,
Like,
and they will listen to their homeboy's opinion about their dick, what they should do with their dick. I'm like, what? Oh, you should fuck this. Well, I don't want to. Oh, nigga, you gay? So he can't just not want to have sex with the woman? Like,
I mean, you could do it. Oh, she don't like you? Oh, damn.
They be wanting to live vicariously through their homeboys, and that shit gay. Like,
But it's being a 40-year-old virgin. She's like, your dick is my dick. I'm like,
what?
Right?
Exactly.
how?
And then those be the ones mainly talk about you ain't never even slept with her, but you the main one calling her a hoe. She slept with your homeboy. Why are you calling? Did she sleep with you? Dang. No. Now you out here throwing salt in her name. You the only one she didn't sleep with, but you the
only
loudest.
nigga who ain't get the train ticket.
But you want to be the loudest. It sounds like something wrong with you. I don't know. Like it. But again, a lot of this still again is programming though. Like even this whole thing of this man versus woman, black man versus black woman. I don't have a problem with black men. I don't have a problem with black men not respecting me. You know what I mean? Like I don't know where they live. Like I don't know where these women get on here and like have all this shit to say. Now that's not to say that stuff doesn't happen. I get that. But it's like one thing happens and it's like the end of the world. You know what I mean? Like we gonna focus on this. Like you've had 8 out of 10 men that you done turned down was just like, nah, I'm good. No, I don't want it. And they just like, all right, have a nice day. But then you get 1 out of that 10 that's like, well, fuck you, bitch. And that's what you get on Twitter and complain about. You know what I mean? Like you get 1 out of 10 and that's the one that you give all your attention to. So why? Like, why? Like, the nigga's irrelevant. Stop giving him all your attention. Like, why would you promote his ass? Like, how about the ones that you turned down and was just like, all right, have a nice day? What about the man that just held the door for you? Even though he might have just been trying to look at your ass, but he just held the door for you and let you go in and went about his business. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't, I don't know. It's just like this need to be a victim on so many levels. For just that's the energy for it. Like right now, everybody, white people want to be victims so bad. Like everybody wants to be a victim right now. Like being a victim is cool.
It is. It's trendy.
Yeah, there's a certain power that comes with appearing powerless. You know, you
attention.
Get the attention, which that's an energetic exchange. Everybody giving you attention. You get a pass for a lot of irresponsible things, situations that you put yourself into and stuff like that, because you're looked at as less than. But that's really what it is. Like by saying you're a victim, by saying that you're not protected, by saying that all of these things, you are, first of all, that's a negative affirmation as hell. Second of all, you are saying that you are less than on a subconscious but really conscious level.
And you're not capable of protecting or doing for yourself. Like you are just a target, and if somebody don't protect me, I'm gonna just remain a target. Like no, that is not who the woman is. Like I don't know. And I grew up a tomboy. Like so until I started my cycle, you couldn't tell me it was something that a little boy could do that I couldn't do. Like I never felt like I was blocked because I was a woman. I know that's not everybody's experience, but this is me speaking for me. I never felt like I was blocked. I never felt less than a man. I never felt like I couldn't do like shit. If we go like if we go into the court, nigga, I'm about to give you buckets. Like real life buckets. You're gonna get these, like, you know what I mean? Like I and then that's my foundation. So that went into my like womanhood. So I took my womanhood into like power, because I'm like, damn, I was doing all this, but I'm still a woman. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like empowered. And it's like all the power that women have, they're trying to make it seem like a weakness for us. Yeah. Like the whole idea of like motherhood and like your cycle and like having this like emotional connection and all this stuff they trying to paint it as like a weakness, and women have bought into it. That's what they want to talk about. Women have bought into patriarchy because you think the man is better than you. You think the man is better than you. That's why you crying for equality, because you think he's better than you. How the fuck is he better than you when you gave birth to him?
Yeah. I mean, these are facts. Like it was crazy, and I feel like I tweeted this a year or two ago. How women have looked at childbirth as risking their life, and someone tweeted something like this earlier, and I'm like, risking your life? Like, you do know that people don't really be dying, and I want to know where people be getting their statistics sometimes too, because the rates of death. And what people got to understand about statistics is the sample size and what they're talking about. So if you have a small sample size, yes, it's going to look like a big statistic. But these, when we used to have birth back in the day where we were, standing and squatting, we didn't have all of these deaths. A lot of the deaths that people are hearing about recently are due to medical negligence. And then those were only the stories that were being pushed out for a couple of years. Oh, this girl died, or this girl died after complications. But to look at giving birth, which everything in nature does, as risking your life, like it's just, and then they accept the fact that, oh, I'm gonna die if I have a child. Like, why would you say that?
And then why are you dying? Because you haven't taken your power over your body and your autonomy over your body back, and you run into this fucking male doctor that went to a male sponsored fucking medical system that's never fucking respected the woman, that would rather cut your baby out of you, and you like, risking my life because you ain't standing up for yourself, and you letting this man kill you in the hospital. You letting the system that a man put together, but you want to say you equal, but you don't want to stand up and do shit for yourself. You don't want to stand up and research your own body. You want to believe what he telling you about your body, and he don't even fucking have a uterus. Like, and come on, like I can't.
Most cesareans
women make me mad.
Most cesareans are not medically necessary. They just make more money by doing them, but they're not medically necessary. And I looked at the statistic before. I forgot how much it was, but it's like well over 50% of cesareans are not necessary.
Yeah, and they get that extra kickback. I think it depends on the hospital, but I heard like something like a couple thousand.
Oh yeah, because you got to pay an anesthesiologist, you got to pay a surgeon, and you got to pay a couple of other specialty doctors.
And we like when y'all use our medicine and you use our drugs, and all we getting kickbacks on all of that. And we know. And we like, and and again, it's up to you to protect your child. The mother is the protector of the child. So you going into the hospital not ready to protect yourself, expecting this system to protect you. But at the same time, you're saying how this system don't treat you equal, it don't value you, but then you're expecting it to protect you, and then you want to cry victim. Like, you can stay stuck in the cycle. Go ahead.
And to bring it back, to not make it super female dominated,
I know, right?
Like, where are the men that help make that child in these kind of situations? They just sitting there in the next room,
but not knowing what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. Then in the lobby smoking cigarettes. Well, you can't smoke indoors no more, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Niggas vaping and shit.
That's why I have my daddy doula thing. I do my little daddy doula class. So because I'm like, man, y'all do have to be the protector of the woman when she goes in the hospital to have your baby. Y'all's baby, but you know what I mean. Like, you do have to, like, that's when you step up to prove that you're a protector. That's when you start proving this shit. Like, I'm not expecting nothing from nobody, but any man, you need to prove it. You know what I mean? Like, if y'all want to say y'all the protectors and y'all the this and y'all the that, prove that shit. Like, prove it. You know what I mean? Because there's plenty of men out there who they protect the whole fucking neighborhood. Like, nobody likes to talk about the men that's really out here in the shit, like really out here checking on the kids in the neighborhood, really out here making sure like those men still exist. Like,
they get called simp sometimes, or that ain't gonna get you pussy, bro, and all that. But they out here. They are.
Man. So.
Well, you want to say something hateful? Let me say something hateful towards the man.
Please. Y'all niggas ain't shit. There's a lot of. I used to say that black men dropped the ball and black women kicked it down the street. It's a matter of us coming together, taking our strengths to complement your weaknesses and vice versa. And again, realizing that, you know, this whole community thing needs to be built first. We can't just expect some random stranger to do whatever. I remember somebody, I think I was at Aldi or whatever, and some Karen was like, thought expected that she could just cut the line in front of me. I was like,
What?
because I'm a woman, I'm like, yeah, okay, have fun with that. I'm like,
What
thanks
is
for sharing. I would have never guessed. I would have never guessed.
like the privilege? And you know, I don't know. We want to talk about how maybe the privilege of the white woman has sunk into the black woman's mind, and she's not realizing that that's white privilege. That's not, you know what I mean? Like, that's not because she's a woman. That's because she's white. So you comparing yourself to her, trying to get what you think is her treatment. Because let's not even talk about, like I said, they got the same stuff going on in their communities. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
they
they
got
do.
the same shit. But why are black people always the one that want to air it out on fucking like, we want to air that shit out in front of everybody.
Niggas can't keep a secret to save their lives. But
Won't say nothing to the person in your family that's doing wrong, but you want to air that shit out and call out black men all over social media, but you ain't said shit to your uncle who you know been molesting your cousin.
yeah, can't even make eye contact.
Man.
And the crazy thing is, this whole situation with the gender stuff, it started as a CIA operation. Like Gloria Steinheim, who I don't need to really describe, you know.
Mm-hmm.
She was an op. And I just found out some tea about Angela Davis, which I kind of already knew.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's also an op. You know, the fact that, you know, she and somebody else got, you know, arrested at the same time, and she got released a month later, and that other person's still in jail. That sounds like some Takashi shit to me.
Yeah, sound like she a federal agent.
And a lot of these civil rights people were. A lot of them.
No, seriously. I was watching like a 6-hour video like on YouTube about like a lot of people being federal agents. I really don't want to get into it because like I'm not really sure like what I can confirm or deny, but it was really interesting.
Look, everybody that's being celebrated, given a platform by the mainstream media is an op. I don't care who they are.
Yeah.
You know
We don't follow idols. We don't follow celebrities. We don't follow activists, lactivists, lacking action. Fucking.
We not fans out here.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Man.
Sorry, kidding.
No, but for real, like, it's just like it's goofy when you really think about it. It's like, this person fought for me. Like, this person doesn't know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these people that are, you know, we make martyrs out of them because they did whatever. Like, I think black people have they have secondhand necromancy. Like, they love dead shit.
Oh yeah.
They do.
Oh yeah. Necromancy is another you know, ritual that has been passed down in the society. Niggas love dead shit. Like,
let me put this dead nigga on my shirt, you know, invoke that energy and hope I don't, you know, the same fate does it before me.
And no, let me just wear the image, but I have no idea anything that he actually talked about or meant, or she, or whatever. Like I can tell by what you say that the person on your shirt, you don't even really know what they stood for. Like,
yeah,
why are you wearing it? Because it was on sale at Forever 21.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like,
niggas love wearing communist dictators on their shirt.
yes.
And it's just, everything is just so trendy. Like, this whole gender war is trendy. Like, and it speaks to that there's a lot of hurt and there's a lot of trauma in the Black community that hasn't been healed. And instead of people actually healing it, they're continuing to turn on each other. And I don't even think they're doing it naturally. Somebody plant a seed because they know there's a lot of trauma in the Black community. All you got to do is light a match and watch that shit blow up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Watch that shit blow up. Like, we know y'all hurt. We know we you know what I mean? We know what situation. We know what's going on in your family. Hell, you know what I mean?
Because you know social media, because you use it as your diary.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I've said this. I'm gonna keep saying this till like somebody calls me out. But go ahead. Like, there's people that have, you know, they worry about, oh, you know, my ex might make a burner account, or like, I see you watching from, you know, whatever. not realizing if somebody will do that for free, there's social engineers that are paid
Say that
to
there.
do that, to scour the internet, look up key phrases, to know exactly how to trigger you. The same way that they're learning how to sell to you through Facebook and all the other stuff, they're learning how to trigger you because your energy is valuable. Data
Say that
is
there.
oil.
Yep. So
Right.
if we're not understanding the tactics being used against us to cause division, even between the black man and the black woman, we're not even if we're not even gonna be like, listen, I can't even fucking stand your ass because whatever, but we know they are trying to divide us. This is not to our benefit. Let's just shut the fuck up about our problems until we solve this problem. Then we can hash this shit out later. Table this shit till later. You know what I mean? Like, let's just table this shit. Let's handle this shit right here. And then we'll come back to this. Like, we're not even bright enough to do that. You know what I mean? To understand that.
And the weird thing is, like, I've seen this happen in real life. I've seen a couple. I'm not gonna say no names, but I was in a room with a couple. It was during Hurricane Sandy, and they started to argue, and they're going back and forth. And so I was like, "Hey, keep it down!" And they both like verbatim at the same time was like, "Shut the fuck up!" You know what I'm saying? Like they came on one
Exactly.
accord as soon
Came
as
together.
you know what I'm
Another
saying?
person.
Right.
We got a common enemy right now because my problem is not actually with you. We got some shit that we need to work on, but my problem is not you. The black man is not keeping the black woman from doing shit. He's not running this system. He's not running this shit. So he is not the enemy. If you gonna claim that victimhood, then you know he's a victim too. Like, if you gonna claim that, then you know that he is one too. So like, he's not running this shit.
And I just thought about it. Low key, I'm thinking that this whole competition thing is just a fight for attention for who's the most oppressed because they want more pity points. And I think that's why this whole thing is coming around as far as, oh, we're the most unprotected, whatever, because we're seeing so much press about black men getting murdered all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So now they've decided to, memify Breonna Taylor. You can't go nowhere without looking at that. And it's just like, this is weird. Like, this is a joke. Like, you're doing this for clicks. You're doing this for clout. Like, this person died, whether it was a sacrifice or not. You know what I'm saying? This is a real situation. So it's like,
it's weird. It's a weird world out here. Like, it's like the Twilight Zone. It's like, it is literally the social media is the Twilight Zone. And I'm not sure how much of it is really applicable to life and is really what people are living like on a day-to-day. Everybody might have had an experience or two, but you are not living that shit on a day-to-day. If you living that shit on a day-to-day, you gotta look at yourself and who you surrounding yourself with. Okay, we all might run into dickheads every so often. But like, if you living that shit on a day-to-day, that's your fault. Like,
you probably shouldn't be tweeting about it every day.
Man, like,
so there's that.
Dude, like, come on now, like.
Yeah, because what you're doing is you're inviting that energy, you're evoking that negative energy that you're currently getting, and then when people like it, retweet it, girl, whatever, that forces that attention that you're looking for, and so you're gonna keep talking about it, and the cycle continues.
Yeah.
Now, what I will say. And this has nothing to do with oppression and nothing to do with none of that stuff. But what a lot of women complain about is the social aspect of men and women. How men look at women socially. How there's a quote unquote double standard and all this stuff because they're looking for approval of the man. So like, if you're looking for approval from the black male, then you're trying to tailor your actions to get his approval. But if you don't give a fuck what he think, then do what you do. Like, if you want to have multiple sexual partners, then do that. Who cares what some black men are saying about that or how they feel about that? Like, you can't take actions without people judging you, because that's what people do. You know what I mean? Like, on the grand scale, people are going to judge you by the actions. Your actions speak louder than your words. So just because you don't want to be judged by those actions, then don't do those actions.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like the judgment of it, or don't pay attention to the judgment. Like,
I'm gonna say, or don't care.
Yeah, like, or just know that some people are going to judge you and just get over it. And like, so why are you seeking so much approval from the black male? But my question is here. But both of y'all have have women friends. female, women, whatever. I'm not gonna get into that.
Oh, damn.
But like, what there
Oh,
are
man.
men that look at women like we can't be friends. Like if we're not having sex, then you don't have much value in my life. If you're not my mama or my sister, and that might really be it. You know what I mean? Like now that aspect of it, I can see. You know what I mean? Like I can see men being dissociating or really not seeing a value in women beyond sex. If they're not sexual with them, then it's like, oh well, we can't really be friends. Like you don't have any value to bring to my life if I can't have sex with you. But that's social stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not here to cry about social acceptance from a man. You know what I mean? Like, but those I do see that. Like, and I have experienced that. But like that's nothing to get on everywhere and cry about though. You know what I mean? Like, oh, such and such don't like me. Like, okay.
Shit. Oh shit. Coming in late to the party. Oh shit.
Oh.
You're
What's good?
Shit, coming in late, but rather be late than rather never. What's going on, fellas?
how you feel about these ain't shit niggas?
Huh?
Never mind.
What's going on?
How you doing, bro?
What up? Dang. I know you had a wild night. You ain't got your camera on. That's what's up. So, yeah, like I was saying, we were talking about, women fighting for men approval. But I'm just thinking, like, that's low-key backwards because even in the wild, like, the male auditions for the female.
Yeah. They
Women
have
aren't
to
doing the
impress the
mating
woman.
calls.
No.
Wait, what? Y'all talking about women fighting for men's approval?
Yeah.
Yes. And how it's backwards.
Yeah, because that's just like I don't know, man. I feel like whenever women have to do anything in terms of like the courting process, it's blown out of proportion. Women don't do much for men's approval. Like, come on.
Yeah, they do.
Half the time, women are doing things for men's approval that they don't need to be doing.
Well,
Yeah.
hey,
We know that, but it still
It's
happens.
It's in their brain. You know, that's what I'm saying. Is because you're seeking approval. That's the problem. Like, stop seeking his approval. Like, if a man don't want to be your friend, if there's no sex on the table, then he's not worthy of being your friend.
Exactly.
And move the fuck on.
Exactly.
Like, move the fuck. He don't want to be your friend because sex not on the table. Then leave that nigga alone.
Leave him alone.
Like,
no, we don't need to be doing it, but
like,
we still do it.
Men this, men that, and they don't respect us because you don't respect yourself because you didn't get up and leave when you felt disrespected.
Mm-hmm.
Then you want to get online and cry about being disrespected because you don't respect yourself.
Oh damn. Yeah, you came into a lot. You missed a lot, but you put it down. But yeah, we were just talking about
I see.
Protection and all of that, and we all agreed that it's on adults to protect themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, because nobody's protecting.
What are you talking about protecting? What do you mean by? Hold on.
Like,
yeah, I'm kind of lost. You're jumping around.
Yeah, my bad.
We talking about protection of womanhood?
No, but we're talking about this gender war stuff and how we're being pit against each other, and just the talking points of how black women are being protected, but nobody's being protected, and it's really on you to protect yourself because at the end of the day, you're with you. You know what I'm saying? You're your own responsibility. Now, we were able to break it down as far as somebody in your circle. Then yeah, obviously, like, or else why are they around? This nigga's just around for decoration? Like, nah. But for like a random stranger, then. Nah, that's kind of iffy. You know what I'm saying? Like, actually, I met somebody off of Twitter, I think 2 or 3 summers ago, and we had met up at this club or whatever. I got a drink, and I thought that she was with somebody, but then she left, and then there was somebody else there, and I saw niggas like kind of doing the little vulture thing that they do, and right before I was about to leave, like, you good? She goes, yeah, I'm good. And I had hit up the one I met off of Twitter or whatever, and I was like, yeah, the homegirl, like, I was just making sure she was alright, whatever. He goes, oh, I don't know her. I was like, oh.
Well,
yeah, because I was just off the strength, you know what I mean? But, she probably had fun that night.
Hey, and if that's what she wants to do, then cool, but she can't escape that judgment, and she got to accept that she put herself in a compromising situation.
So let me ask you this, though, right? Because this is where things get interesting.
Go.
You know what? Nah, I ain't gonna go there. I have missed too
No.
much.
You already
Nah.
opened it up. Go ahead.
Listen, we've been on women's head the whole time. We ain't said shit about the man. So please come at.
I mean, I guess I'm still trying to get the idea.
Oh,
Nope.
We're going with this. I mean, in terms of protection of the woman, I mean, I look out for sisters. That's not what they're protected. Stop making blatant statements. I don't know what circles some of y'all are in. I'm protected. People look out for me. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's what we're
covered.
saying.
And you know what else? The women that have hung out in my circles, they've been protected too.
Exactly. Yes.
But that's just how we get down. And I get it. And I'm starting to learn to realize that, you know what? Black is not monolithic, and perhaps that experience is not too.
We said that.
I also realize
I said
that. Now, the conflict for me comes down to, because it's like, when you're a female, if you're not in those spaces where you have that kind of support, you know, when things happen to you, to what degree are you responsible for your actions? That, and I'm not saying that to say that what happens to you is right or wrong, but again, you know, a lot of the times I watch a lot of these stuff, and I tell people I don't watch it to see if someone's right or wrong. I watch it to look at the behavior so that I can be more informed to make sure that shit's not happening around me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
look, man, you summarized everything we said.
Yeah, and I'm beyond, and I get so upset because, you know, I want to talk about these things more, but it's like I keep seeing the same trends of suspect behavior, doing suspect things. You know what I mean? And that leads to you ended up in bad spaces. So yeah,
exactly. And that's the thing. You can say that we need to teach males about consent and all this stuff, but at the same time, I mean, I'm saying you can say that. You can say that all you want, but at the same time, if your bottom line is the protection of the woman is to stop rape, then you need to teach her to identify rapey ass situations and stay away from them. If your bottom agenda is to protect the woman, is that what we're trying to do, or is that not what we're doing?
I think they're just trying to be right.
I think so too. I actually always say that. And that's why I made that point that I told him. I was like, I'm not watching this to look who's right or wrong. That shit happened 20, 30 years ago. There's a lot of things around that I wasn't even privy to that I don't know. It's fucked up. Yes, it is. But there's a reason why, like, my sister doesn't ever end up in situations like that, right? You know what I mean? There's a reason for that.
Yep.
And again, and you know, and I'm not trying to trigger no one that might hear this and say that just because
Nigga,
you
just
put
say
yourself
what
in
your
those
chest.
situations, you deserve that. Again, but you know, everybody's got to be responsible at some point for your actions, where you at. You know what I mean? And otherwise, you living life like you a victim. Now,
you living life
you
dangerously.
Yeah, because like, I mean, just on my situation, like on a male situation, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was a time I got pressed because I was wearing colors that I shouldn't have been wearing. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing the realm I was in. So I got pressed. That's on me for not knowing where I'm at, for not being cognizant of my surroundings. You know, men are more likely to be assaulted by other men in general, period. But we're not complaining about that because that's bitch ass shit. So with that being said, you know, we have to protect ourselves and protect those around us because ain't shit sweet out here.
And you know what else I think, man? I feel like people cry wolf too much. Like, it is not to say that all people are bad, but like, there's always going to be, you know, bad examples. But I feel like we let the example be the standard way too much. Like, don't act like all of us out here doing that. That's not true. You know what I mean? Like, you be in the hood, there may be 2 or 3 guys out of the repeatedly. Don't say that we're all doing that because we're not. It was that dude. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, y'all be knowing it, but y'all.
First of all, most of the people that's the loudest ain't never been to the hood. Can we talk about that? Most people that's in the hood, they're tweeting locally. Like, they're talking to other people. They're not even on Twitter. A lot of people I know in real life aren't on Twitter like that.
Yeah.
They're on Facebook, you know, doing local stuff, whatever. Twitter is like a global situation. And again, people in the hood, they talk about local things.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, this whole thing of like, oh, I don't feel safe here, whatever. You've never been here. You don't feel safe here because you're not familiar here. And yes, going into a hood that you've never been to before, that they don't know you and you don't know them, that is a dangerous situation. There's a lot of variables and moving parts. So, I mean, old people say all the time, don't be a dumbass all your life. Like, come on, man. But, damn, we gotta, somebody say something negative about men so we can retort, because we whipping these women's asses right now, and I didn't really trying to do.
You know what it is? It's because we're probably all similar men thinking that, and we doing the same things, man. I mean, dudes do be, yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, there are some dudes that do be tripping, man, and be forcing it. You know what I'm saying? Let's not act like that doesn't happen.
Right.
You know, like me, I've always been I lost my virginity late, and I've always taken my fucking time because I act like motherfuckers to the feds anyway, and I believe the government already on me. So nobody's gonna get no.
Real.
Y'all are not gonna be like 30 years ago. I was sleeping on the couch with Justin, and he tried something. Nope. We sat on that couch for a fucking hour because you didn't know what you wanted to do, and I was going damn sure wait till you made your mind up.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna take it, because I do believe that. Like I do believe that they set us up. I do believe that.
I have a friend who a chick that he messed with called him from a hotel room like the next morning, like, I got raped and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And he was like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like, well, tell me the story. And she was like, well, I got drunk and he brought me back to a hotel and blah, 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 blah. So she's throwing this rape thing out, right? And then he gets on her social media and literally the dude has her phone and she's leading the way to the room. Not in distress, not doing it, not nothing. Then he keeps drilling her. Turns out they had sex twice. And then, but when she woke up, he was gone. When she woke up from all of that the second time and it was time to check out the hotel, he was gone. So now, because you felt you were expecting something else and you didn't get what you felt violated, but it wasn't you consented to the sex, but you felt violated after you didn't feel like you got that respect and you felt raped, but you wasn't raped. You know what I mean? Like, you were not raped. You just felt violated because nigga hit it and quit, literally, and went back home to his wife. Like,
so yeah, this is something that like I've been like struggling with, because it honestly, it is why I feel like every time these things come up in the news, while I feel like from the outside looking, it looks like I'm calling like I'm always capping for the dude that's being accused, because like, yo, this messy shit happens a lot. I mean, because it's like, so.
I mean, Justin assist still.
Yeah, your service be like fluctuating, and then you start getting chopped and screwed and shit.
Not chopped and screwed.
Because it's like, so I was telling somebody, right, like, number one, I think what happened was fucked up. You know, she clearly was doing some things in the hip hop, because she was like a point where like the thing happened, and it happens to others, and I'm like, yo, but I guess that's two different topics. But I guess what gets me most is the point where it's like she keeps talking about, like, you know, I'm trying to get my job. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to get a job too, but nobody's fucking me to get the promotion.
Right.
That's just not gonna happen, you know. And I like to think that that's not just because I'm a man, you know. So my whole thing is I be feeling like, so if it's rape, we gotta have a name for this, because if you would have gotten a job, then it wouldn't have been rape.
Yeah, that's coercion. I believe that's what they're calling it now. Or is that quid pro quo? But the crazy thing is, and I'm about to sound like I don't know. I'm just gonna sound crazy, but
I feel like I already do stuff.
so I mean, the whole concept of women working was like the craziest finesse anyway. Because honestly, it wasn't about
Oh, you really tripping right now.
rights.
Go ahead, bro. Do your thing.
It wasn't about rights. It wasn't
That's-
about equality. It was about taxes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you a stay-at-home mother, you're not getting taxed. But if you working, then you are. That's all it was about. It wasn't about all this other stuff and it was a crazy finesse. And if you're on any social media, I would say 9 times out of 10, especially on a Monday, I'm seeing some posts about a woman saying she hates her job. And again, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Follow your dreams, do all of that. But it's like the concept of work. First of all, I think work is a scam. But we got to get it how we live. This is the game. I don't make the rules. But to make the woman choose over basically like having to choose between like her family, like raising her kids, or like starting a family, if that's what she wants to do, and a career. And I mean, you can't do both, but something you can't give 100% to both because you're just one.
And they know that.
So, it's a crazy finesse, and a lot of this stuff, like even like I've heard somebody say that I think it was this is a podcaster named Kiki Green. She was like, "I'm sorry, I'm old school. Like, I think there's jobs for men and jobs for women. I don't need to have a bunch of men in my damn call center. Why do you think all the sexual harassment should be going on? Like, think about it. Before this whole, was there a need for HR before we integrated with women in the workspace? I mean, let's keep it a band.
When you write, you write. You know what I mean? Like, and if we understand men and women, there's gonna be some underlying sexual something just because of this. Even if it's not natural, it's because of the culture. Like, even if we want to just blame it on the culture, because you can't turn on the radio, the TV, watch parts. You can't do nothing without some kind of sexual underlying something. So if we understand that is the base of the culture, that is not the black man, that is the culture. You know what I mean? Like that. And like, so if we really start to look at getting to the roots of these different things, we would stop even falling for looking at each other as the enemy, and stop falling for the okie doke and say, man, this is a fucked up culture. Look at how we treat each other. Oh. Hey, my God.
I don't know.
I always thought about like the integration was a big thing in the military. Y'all really trying to put this agenda that hard? Like, are we really trying to fight this point? Like, we know we're not the same. This whole equal thing is crazy. Like, we acknowledging that you're not equal doesn't mean you don't have like respect for someone that's like an individual. I feel like people fuck that up so much. I always get into this argument with people, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, we're not equals, but that don't mean that you're not valued. Like, you're an individual. You're unique in your own ways. Like, this shit that women do that I just can't do. You know what I mean? Damn. But that shit, I don't know, man. I feel like I definitely think this thing is being media fed. In particular, the black woman and black man thing. Like the last few weeks, man, that shit's been going hand with like that Rolling Stone magazine cover where they have the sister talking about our lives matter, and the way they do the crowd. They do these things on purpose, and people just don't be hip to it.
They're doing it more quickly as well.
So yeah, man, like, you know what I'm saying, the commercials now, and hey, marry who you want to marry. I'm all for that. I do believe that love ain't got a color, but you got to ask yourself, why is all of a sudden shit promoted a little bit more than it was before?
You know why?
I don't know. I start saying that shit on my whole time. You know what I mean? Why do y'all got names for black men when they have their own thoughts?
Well, I guess some would say that because when women had their own thoughts, they were good bitches. So,
but that's not true.
So we gonna do the same thing. I think, but it speaks to the fact of saying that women are looking at this small percentage of men and generalizing that to everybody. Like, if you have your own opinion, most men are not gonna be like, oh, you a bitch because you got hair. Like, bro, and if the man is like that, then he ain't worth shit. So why are you arguing with somebody and trying to get the approval of somebody and want somebody who ain't shit to protect you? Like, like that don't even make sense. Like, it's a person thing. Like, we looking, and like you said about the equality. So it's like. So it's like the equality. It's like we all have different strengths. Okay, you might be stronger than me. Okay, but I might have a different strength. So we're not equal in strength. You know what I mean? Like, but that doesn't make us less than equal as just plain human beings. You know what I mean? Like, if you're fighting for your equality, you're saying you're not equal. You're saying that you don't have the values that they have.
And I feel like that part, the strengths part, though, is getting missed in this whole equal thing. Like, I really feel like they trying to soldier this thing up for us to believe like we the same, like we, motherfucker, ain't nobody equal to me. I can make sure you get that shit quoted black and white. No one's equal to me. I am unique. That's why I'm Justin H. Tucker. There is nobody, no other man on this planet. So damn sure no other woman is gonna be equal to me. I just have what I have is unique. You know what I'm saying? And I can start like embodying what's unique about you. And like we talked about a lot of times, DJ, that comes from that knowledge of self, and people lack it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I be looking at sisters like so many times, like, tell me this, like how many times you really feel like you've been a threat in your own space? You know, like I feel like sometimes a lot of this shit is just engineered by the very smart brothers and very smart sisters, you know what I'm saying, that go to school and work for these white organizations and put out these great publications, got the fancy words, but these motherfuckers ain't been home since they left school. You know what I mean?
Man, I'm so tired of intersection. That's where I jumped out off the boat. I jumped off the boat when all the intersectionality shit popped off. I was like, listen, I'm not fooling with y'all with this shit. Like, I mean, I get it, but get the fuck out of here. Like, y'all are making a simple thing complicated as fuck and making more divisions along the way. Like, y'all not seeing the game being played against you. Y'all just gonna keep on dividing and just keep on dividing and just keep taking it to, like, can we get a goal accomplished before y'all try to split again? Like, you niggas has got ADD. Everybody has got ADD. Like, come on, man.
And it's funny, just you actually just made me realize, I remember there's this movement now going about, like, I guess divesting, or they call them divestors, where basically like women that's purposefully like dating outside the race to kind of like, I guess, bleach out their blackness or some shit. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure if anybody.
The most beautiful form of self-hate. Like, I mean, what are we talking about? Like, I mean, I
playing this against ourselves, man.
Like, love who you love, do your thing. But if you are intentionally not dating people who look like you, what are you saying to you? What are you saying about yourself? Like, and hey, you can say it. It's none of my business. Like, it's none of my business. I don't care what you say. Like, that's you.
All the supporters.
Shout out to what?
Shout out to the Candace Owens. You can't come back home. You know what I'm saying?
Candace Owens.
You can't come back home.
Oh, man.
And it's like, and you want to talk, but this is the craziest thing. The craziest thing, if you want to talk shit about the black man, you got a fucking son. Like, that's what we like. Like, you don't think he's internalizing the stuff that you saying or that energy that you putting out? Because you can't feel that way about the black man in general and then not have that energy with your son or with any like male in your space. You know what I mean? Like, so how do you even fix your lips to say these broad overarching statements about black men? And like, I got a fucking son. You're never gonna hear me try to say nothing about, like, nah, man, my little niggas is shit. Like, he get on my nerves, but like, nah, that's my rider. Like, we good. You know what I mean? Like, and whenever he decides that he wants to get a woman or whatever he decides that he wants to get a woman, how he wants to go about that, I'm gonna make sure that, hey, don't be on no bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, because that's not how I raised you. You know, like, you gonna do right or you gonna leave her alone. You know what I mean? You know, like, so how can I fix my mouth to say these things and put that energy out here about black men and then be raising? It just don't make sense. Like, it don't make sense. So, like, it's just not making sense at the end of the day. Like, I don't know these women in real life though. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, they don't know themselves in real life, though. So they know their social media persona. That's really about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's an act. Mr.
There's
K.
a bunch of actresses out here.
K, like, yeah, what y'all said.
Did we swap spots or something? I came in and took his spot.
Yeah, I don't even know. I'm not even sure he can hit niggas.
I think he left. He
right there.
Are you eating?
This nigga went down food. Got it. You got his headphones. You probably can't even hear us. But anyway, yeah. But that when I saw that, I was just like, wow, that's crazy. And the thing is, like, I'm not going to deny that there aren't, guys out there that are, treating women like garbage. But at the same time, it's like, you experience what you allow. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's
another one I be hitting them with.
Yeah, there's black men out here that ain't trash, that are trash. But then there's also white men that are trash. There's trash. Trash comes in all shapes, sizes, colors, and forms.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps women don't realize that they're really raccoons, because raccoons love trash.
It's like
wow,
you get somebody that ain't never showed that they was not like they ain't never proved any of this stuff that these visions that you have in this mind of this Prince Charming that every man is supposed to be. This man ain't never said he wanted to be that. He ain't never said he wanted to be that for you. He ain't never made none of those things, and you hold him to this standard, and then when that standard is not met, you want to cry victim. Like,
you hurt your own feelings.
You hurt your own feelings, but that wasn't him.
Oh yeah,
that was you. You felt like he should have stepped up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You feel like he should have been better because you're this, whatever. So he should have been better. No, you let him be that. You know what I mean?
Like, and then you didn't push him up to that standard when he got there. I remember the first time a dude was like, "Did I ask you to do that?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, oh." My feelings, but you're not lying though.
Look, back in the day when I used to belong to the streets, I remember like women asking me crazy things, like trying to push for this relationship and stuff like that. And I'm just like, yo, you don't even know what my dreams are. Like, what are you on right now? Like, oh, I didn't know you do that. I'm like, yeah, you too busy,
trying to plan our wedding.
Man, yes. You too busy trying to skip steps.
Yeah, you too busy with your face in the pillow.
Boy.
I'm just saying, like, I really so, I think we need to stop. One, just to bring it back to this whole ceasefire thing, I think one of the biggest things that we need to do is stop creating expectations for people that we do not know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Period.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
It seems simple. That seems like.
And for people that are in your immediate circle, you need to establish a set of expectations and make sure that they are being held accountable to those expectations.
Yep. Because if I'm talking to any reasonable man, he might still be out here playing women, doing, playing little games, whatever. But if I say, hey, you know what? Rape is wrong. Any reasonable man's like, yeah, it is. You know what I mean? Like, so when we start to argue and divide over shit that is clearly wrong, like, why are we talking about this? This is clearly wrong. Like, no woman should be raped, regardless of what she did, regardless of what situation she put herself in. She should not be raped. We know that as just normal, common sense, logical, heartfelt beings. You know that. And if somebody doesn't know that, then get them. Like, we should not be dividing. That should not be a dividing point. That should not be able to be used to divide us. Like, if you can't even agree on that, then like we're not even going the same direction. Like, I don't even like. Move over. Like, this is not even that. So, like, how can we use something that's just so basic to allow it to divide us, to allow it to, like, to argue over, like, what? Ceasefire. That's all I'm saying. I agree with the ceasefire. Like, come on now. Stop being mad. You just mad at your baby daddy, and you taking it out on all the men because you mad at your baby daddy. So. You mad at all the poor decision and the whack ass man that you don't let in your life and that you don't let run up in you, and you sad and you holding on all that energy in your womb and it's all still there and you bitter.
Yeah, there's a lot with that too. Like, you know, I mean, I just see like a whole bunch of things. Like, you know, a lot of women are like out here like not being satisfied too, and they're just like, dang. So like, what are you getting from this situation with the nigga that you're with? You're not even blowing your back out.
And they not speaking up about it either.
Like, so you just all around.
And you know what?
Do you hate yourself?
That's that shit that I can't. That's the shit that I don't like. Yo,
Yes, they do.
suffer in silence, man, and then you can't. And then you be a victim. Nah, man, you gotta speak up. You gotta say it's not fair. It's not fair. And if you are being, you know, if you are in a bad situation, yo, you let a nigga off the hook. These motherfuckers, that's how they get 20, 30 victims, because none of y'all ever say nothing. And I get frustrated, like, why doesn't no one ever echo that? Because are you really? Because if you weren't silent for so long, they wouldn't have raped nobody else.
Yep. And that's just, that goes for domestic violence and stuff. My friend just finally, she went through court and took the shit all the way to court, but it took until she got her first the court case to realize he had 4 other domestic violence charges. And 2 of these women you done talked to before. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, she ain't tip her hat to be like, hey, like, wanna like move around, you know what I mean? Like, and it so then it comes back to, do women have each other's back? Y'all want to talk about the men, but let's talk about, do we have each other's back? When you know somebody been on some domestic violence stuff, when you know somebody been on some other stuff, and you just let them like, okay, whatever, and just let them keep going out there and let them keep doing shit and never say nothing. Like, okay, you know, you set somebody else up. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm gonna warn you. Hey, like, you don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, listen. Or you can just say, go get a background check. You didn't even, like, at this point, he got cases. You can just say, I'll get a background check. Look him up, see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, just anything. Like, like.
Funny thing is, we do that as men.
Exactly.
You know, everybody talks about how much we don't communicate, but we at least do that part.
Very well. Because there's a certain backbiting culture in womanhood that is being destroyed right now, because there's a bomb women out here who are looking out for each other. Be quiet. Because they're looking out for each other, and they, you know what I mean, and they're supporting each other and stuff. But like in the general culture, there women, it's like this competition. It's, you know, there's this unseen, unspoken competition. And we're not realizing by that unseen competition, we setting each other up for failure. I'm gonna let you fail. But then we want to come together in sisterhood behind being victimized when you don't want to let her be victimized. You know what I mean? Like, but now I'm your sister because you went through the same shit as me.
That's like we a crackhead cousin, like, steal something and they help you look for it.
Basically,
trauma bonding.
So I heard that and I want y'all to chime in on this if this is true or false. But would you say that women, I'm not gonna say are, but can be the biggest misogynist?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't view myself. Yeah, no, because women have internalized patriarchy. They believe all the stuff that they've been fed about women being the weaker sex. So women a lot of the times push misogyny by making the woman weak, by selling that narrative, like, you know what I mean? Like, so we have a lot of women have internalized patriarchy and are misogynists, like, and it might not look the same as when a man is misogynist, but they have those same views because they believe that they're not equal. Like,
I won't say can be the biggest, because we've both been programs and we both have been affected differently by the programs. And as Ajaya said, it is expressed in different ways. So there's just certain stuff that you can't really measure because they're on different scales. Are both guilty? Yes, absolutely. But I wouldn't say that women are bigger or men are bigger because it's a bigger program. that is at play here. So it's expressed differently is how I feel about it. But it does come from both sides. Yes.
Yeah, most definitely. So,
And the woman is the target. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
The woman is who all the babies come through. That is the nation. That is who educates the baby. She's the first school. So she is the target for everything that is really aimed at the Black community. It's aimed at the woman. Because she's going to pass that on and teach that to all of her children. So that's why I said she's the biggest misogynist, because she has to allow that stuff to be taught, and she has to enforce it, and she has to let it slide. Because if your mama ain't having it, the shit not happening. Not in her house, not in her thing, not if you coming around her. Like, if mama ain't having it, it's not happening.
yeah, I can smoke a bag of that. With you know, I'm really thinking about this. I've said this before in other publications, that I think what we definitely need to do as men and as women is, one, better ourselves. Because once we better ourselves, we better everything around us. Just that's the bare minimum you can do. If you didn't got nothing from this, just at least be better. Be less of a piece of shit than you were, yesterday. Now, as far as the way that men interact among each other, that's a whole situation that we need to handle probably first before we even get to the women. Because we have a lot of work that we need to do among ourselves. Like, all of this violence that, again, I mean, I when I was growing up, we fought every day. It was kind of like a hierarchy. We called it play fighting, but nah, some of them punches were serious. And it's just like, we need to realize, like, why are we so prone to this kind of situations? Like, why are we so prone to like, I don't think I've laid hands on a white boy in like almost 20 years, but I laid the hands on the nigga like not that long ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why is it like that? Yes, you can factor in proximity, but I just feel like it may be easier to lay hands on someone that looks like you as opposed to someone that doesn't look like you. Because typically, like, if it's someone that doesn't look like you, for the most part, it's if it's like blatant disrespect, like, they drop the N-bomb or they say something passive aggressive, whatever. But for some reason, it's like, even if it's still like violence, either way, I feel like it's a different energy. It's a different level between like black and then black and other things. So we need to handle that. We need to really figure out what's the science behind that. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not taking away from, what outsiders do, but we need to handle the inside first before anything. So we need to really figure out what's the situation with that. We need to really work on de-escalating situations. And honestly, I don't think we need to teach our children this, like, as young as Ajaya's son's age. Like, this is how you de-escalate the situation. Like, I'm on this wave right now. Like, how can you bring this person down? How can you, like, talk it out to not get to that point? And if it gets to that point, how can you resolve the issue, defend yourself, and then, remove yourself and put yourself in a safer space? Like,
they try to do that in schools with like social emotional learning, but a lot of schools ain't with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't want to allow that in the schools, in the school system, and just it didn't have knowledgeable people that are willing to do it. But I mean, that's what I do. I'm a school counselor on the market now, and that's part of my program is social emotional learning. I think it come different for me because I'm a black man and I got an appearance. So hearing me talk about embracing your feelings come off a little different than some little blonde white lady. You know what I mean? There's a little bit more legitimacy when I'm telling you about that. So the work is being done, but it's damn sure it's not enough people. And it's going to come with time.
I think that's the healing. That's the healing part that the man can do to help the woman. If you want to help, if the black man wants to help the black woman, that's how you stop hurting her. That's how you stop repeating cycles. Heal yourself. Like, go on your healing journey. And then I also think that this is overly masculine, this need to be overly masculine in the male community, because everybody has a feminine side. Everybody has a masculine, everyone has masculine and feminine energy. But I feel like in the Black community, the male feminine energy is suppressed, it is looked down upon, and it is automatically assumed to be homosexual. You know what I mean? And so that also feeds into the problem that we're seeing in men being predatory and overly aggressive and stuff like that, is because we're not helping them explore and figure out that feminine energy, and that has nothing to do with sexuality, and that's a whole nother issue altogether. Like, it's okay to have feelings, it's okay for men to cry, like, y'all are humans, like that's what humans do, like. But that's not, because as soon as a little boy is 3 years old, stop crying like a little girl. And I'm here to vouch to say little boys cry more than little girls all day. Like when they're young, you know what I mean? It's like all this, stop crying like a girl and stop crying like this and da-da-da-da-da, and suppress your feelings. And then we wonder why they have this aggression that they don't know what's from, because they've been suppressing everything since the time they was 2 or 3, when you told them they couldn't cry no more and they couldn't have feelings and they couldn't do none of this stuff to actually be human and experience the ups and downs of life. Like, they're children, you know what I mean?
But don't just put it all on their moms, because again,
I'm not putting it all on a mom,
yeah,
but it's her job.
There's a part of toxic masculinity that I always say that females also, just in social interactions, played a big part in, because that's what y'all were attracted to, and that was like a whole decade and a half, or we could argue 2 decades of that's what you were attracted to. Now all of a sudden it's so cool for this intellectual, sensitive, open man, we want men to go to therapy. That shit is cool now. It wasn't cool last year. Or, you know what I mean?
I'm not saying, but it doesn't have to
right,
be,
but
like, if we allow them to do that,
cool. And
no,
now
but if we allow children to be children, then we don't have men that need to go to therapy. That's what I'm saying. We do this.
Because things are going to happen in people's lives. So I don't think it's
right. But no, if you tell a man from the time that he's 3 that you're not supposed to cry, and that's a normal thing to do, and that is normal for people to be like, hey, why are you always crying? He a crybaby. He's 3 or 4. He's frustrated. He don't know how to deal with his emotions. Teach him how to deal with his emotions, not to suppress them. Like, wipe your tears. You ain't no crybaby. Wipe your tears. Help. That's not teaching him how to deal with them. And then as he grows older, that manifests into other things, because he's never learned how to deal with his emotions, because he was told because he's a boy, he's not supposed to have these emotions, and he's not supposed to experience these, like, sadness and cry. You know what I mean? Like, and kids get sad over stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's crying because he lost his favorite truck. And no, that's not something you should cry about, but help him work through those emotions. So later in life, when he gets emotional because he was denied having sex with this woman he really likes, he doesn't turn to be aggressive. He knows how to deal with that same emotion as an adult, because he learned how to deal with emotions as a child.
I was actually gonna get to that, because it's not just you don't get sex, you become aggressive, right? I think
that was just the thing that I used.
This is kind of going back to that, the big, strong, crazy Black man. All I want to do is have sex. That shit. No, it's more than that though. Part of our behavior, it comes from this is what attracts. This is what attracts. Like, you like the
because
bravado.
this is what we're teaching.
You know what I mean?
Is what
that's
the woman taught it though.
Right.
The woman taught that to
not
them.
Just woman, but we learn it in our peer circles, Like, I always used to tell, when I was in my college access work, I would always talk to any young woman in my program. I would say, don't talk to boys that you don't see in the library. You know what I'm saying? That's why he don't go to class, because you condoning this shit. You talking to him and he ain't doing what he's supposed to do. In a couple of years, he's gonna be really messed up, and you're gonna be talking bad about it. But remember, you was messing with him right here and here. You planted that seed. You know what I mean? And we do this so long. And now, like, my age group, I love it. I see all the girls that are in their mid-30s now. They all enlightened, they changed. But, like, you dogged out all these dudes in their 20s. There was a lot of great catches for you. You know what I mean? It wasn't men ain't shit. It was just selection ain't shit.
Yeah, it's always been that.
Right. But we don't want to own that up, though. That's what I'm saying. No one ever wants to own that. No one ever wants to admit that, nah, I just have a bad, selection in women. I have a bad selection in men, or whatever. No one ever
We
wants to
can
say that.
own that,
It's
but
everyone
we
else's
very
bad.
much must remember that we are all being programmed. And I feel like we should never forget that. While, yes, we individually have made poor choices, and like you're saying, it wasn't cool, because we were talking about earlier on the flip side with women, how certain things with women weren't cool and acceptable, and now they're super trendy and fun, and I want that. And we just have to remember that we are all deprogramming, all unlearning, and all searching for truth and self-love, because everything starts with self. So some people might never get there, and it is what it is, and that's their personal choice to never get there. But we just need to keep that in mind as well, that the programming is heavy. The programming is in the schools. The programming is on television. The programming is on social media. The programming is when you go outside. The programming is on fucking radio commercials. Like, it's everywhere. And if you're not doing the work to kind of not listen to the programs anymore, you're still going to be affected by that. So both of you guys are making valid points, but just remember that we have a lot of deep conditioning, like what Justin was saying earlier about the schools and whatnot. School is not made, unfortunately, for you to have those spaces. School is made to program. That's why we have standards of education. The things that we are learning are for a test. Yes, curriculum. Everything that we learn in school, unfortunately, is for a test. And they started doing the counseling stuff now, but they squeeze it in. They make it like this quick little hour once a week. I mean, different schools are different, but it's still not a core part of the curriculum like it should be. So
as a child, you're still not allowed to actually fully feel your emotions in school. Like, you're not fully allowed to, like, if something truly frustrates you and you like 7 or 8, like, you can't express that frustration. You know what I mean? Like, you have to just suppress it and be a good student. You know what I mean? And not have these outbursts, and you don't actually learn how to deal with, to solve your problems, and like move emotionally. Like, hey, you go into the office where you might not get that talk to, like, okay, how did what was you feeling? How, as a school counselor, I never really got to do that stuff except for on my lunch. Like, having children come to my office on lunch. Like, that's when I got to do that. Other than that, I'm scheduling, I'm doing testing, I'm doing everything else besides actually helping children with things that are going to lead to them having a better future and a better mental, emotional, social well-being. Because, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. So, like, that has to be the focus. Like, and like I said, at the end of the day, it's
That's
the
why
mother
you emphasizing
who
the
is the
so much.
What'd you say?
I said that's why you was emphasizing the crying and the emotion so much.
Yeah, like, and at the end of the day, like I said, it's mama bear. That's the protector. That's the nurturer. That's the thing. So I'm always gonna put it back on mama. Like, I am. That's my philosophy. That's how I roll. And if we can get it there, then it gets to the children. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna get it in school. You might not get it in school. You can't blame the school for not raising your child how you want your child to be raised. You know what I mean? Like, we can't do that. Then you back in victimhood. You know what I mean? Like, you back, well, they didn't teach my child how. Oh, well, shit. Who had the baby? The school system didn't have the baby. You know what I mean? Like, so until we start really trying to solve our problems and get to the root of our problems, like, we just gonna be able to, they just gonna keep throwing out shit to divide you. Oh, what? Like, we just shooting out, like, oh, it's this person. Like, shoot that person. Like, oh, no, it's over here. Like, you just out here just aiming recklessly at whoever is the hot thing on social media, whatever is pushed out here. Oh, we shooting at them now. Oh, now that's the problem. Not it. Like, we just plugging holes in a sinking ship. Like, man, come on.
Yo, Kavohn, you there? You just a hologram.
I'm just a hologram, bro. Yeah, I've been, like, I've been eating watermelon in and out, like, checking my nephew out. But I've been actively listening, like, while I've been here. Yeah.
So you ain't got shit to contribute? You just here for the fellowship?
Yeah. You know what? I'm here to be a shit nigga. That's just how it is today. Yeah. But yeah, I'm here for the fellowship. Yeah.
All right.
What you got?
He said, yeah.
Yeah, you was quiet like a smooth 30 minutes. I just was trying to make sure, make sure everything good on your side.
Oh yeah, we straight. I'm about to take my man's back to the crib, I think.
You want to rephrase that?
Come back to his crib.
There you go.
Pause, rewind. My bad.
I mean, it's 2020. That's what you want to do, my brother. You know.
Yeah, my fault. Dang, this ain't this comeback ain't really going so well, but I'm just gonna sign off right here. I love y'all. Y'all have a good night. Yeah, and Couch Time with K. I'll catch y'all next week. Yeah.
Bye, Kay.
Yeah,
Peace, Kay.
Have a good night.
It's been a pleasure, my dude.
Yeah. Peace, Justin.
Oh man, funny shit. So we're gonna wrap this up. So just a synopsis of what we can do, collectively. Like, keep it succinct. As far as like what we can do to just better our relationships with the opposite sex. We're gonna start with Hope.
Yes. I will always say self. You go back to self. So to better your relationship with anybody, you have to better your relationship with yourself. Like I said earlier, mental illness is rampant and people lack accountability, whether they know or they don't know. It's a lot of unconscious behaviors out here. But everything starts with self. You cannot give your all to anyone if you do not have all for yourself, if you don't love yourself. So, and I stand by that on anything. So.
All right, Ajaya.
I would say, for my women out here, stop buying into the programming that you're a victim, that you don't have power. Don't internalize that. Like, we literally birthed the nation. Ain't nothing coming here if you don't give it permission. Like, a man can't have a child, a man can't reproduce. If you don't give it permission, it's not coming here. So you have all the power. You women have all the power. So stop buying into this programming that you are this weak that needs this man to protect you and when it is up to you to protect yourself. First and foremost, that's just a basic rule of survival, is protect yourself. Put your boundaries in place and your standards, and get your standards set. And like Hope said, love yourself so you're not out here chasing the approval of a man, and watch shit fall in line.
I just talk to me.
Well, for the fellas, I think honestly we gotta be more diligent. And I think again, that knowledge is self piece. As you become more self-aware and become more just proud of who you are, a lot of this behavior is just gonna go out the door. We also gotta get control of our dicks. Like that is what it is. I mean, it gets you in a lot of trouble. I'm not
Real
even talking
shit.
about just on I'm not even talking about if you on the rapey shit, like you have no self-control. I'm talking about even if you are a good guy and you're not out here doing that, control your dick, man, because that's why you're not getting shit done. That time that you was chasing that chick, that's the time you could have been on your business. The time that's gonna make you a better man, so you can be strong for a woman. Like we got to get our priorities in order. That's what it comes down to. We get our priorities in order, all this will take care of itself.
Because if men value their sexual energy the way that we push women to, then they wouldn't be having those. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be such rapey situations even be out there, because you wouldn't be looking. You know what I mean? There wouldn't even be a chance for these things to happen, because you're not out here just trying to fuck tonight. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to do something tonight.
Where's your sense of pride of wanting to be wanted? Like, it feels good for a woman to like want me to come into her. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be that drawing. Like, how does that not do it for you, bro? Like, I don't know how you can be. Well, that's a whole nother thing, man. How you do that? I don't want to go there.
Well, from what I've seen, I believe it's all about power. It's not about the pleasure. It's not about any of that. It's typically someone that has those characteristics. They're control freaks, which means they don't have control over their life, which means they want control over somebody else, and that makes them feel powerful. That's really what that is. But as far as what men can do, one, stop being a piece of shit. Be better. Each day, strive to be better. You know what I'm saying? Have knowledge of yourself, love yourself. You know, realize that you are valuable, and until you value yourself, no one else will value you. And you're not just getting pussy; you're giving dick. Like you look at it like that. Well, one, if you look at it like that, you know, these women won't walk around talk about how unsatisfied they are. Two, you know, the fact that you know you're having more discipline, you're more selective with who you're spending your time with, who you're exchanging energy with. You know, we won't
That's
have all
like
of these.
you can't grab the hammer unless you're worthy. You know, why couldn't she lift it? Because she wasn't worthy. She had to go. She wasn't worthy. You gotta have that mentality, fellas.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
Wow.
So, yo, that is weak as shit.
Hey,
but
it
nah,
works. Great analogy, man. It works.
yeah, it does. It does. It definitely does. You know, if you're gonna pull the sword out the stone, you got to be the chosen one. So, you know, yeah, if you have more pride in yourself, you know, and you're more selective with who you're exchanging energy with, then you're harming less people. There are less damaged women out there. There's less trauma babies. There's less, you know, I had this baby to save my marriage and still failed. Like there's less of that because you're more selective. You're pruning. You're just holding yourself to a better standard. And when you hold yourself to a better standard, better things happen because you're bettering yourself, and thus everything around you must be better. So I guess the final point is just be better. Um, so just if they want to look for you, where can they find you?
Oh, you guys know, man. I'm on IG. I'm on Twitter. No fucks given J. You can also find me on IG. You can find me on my podcast, No Fucks Given. We just had an amazing episode, breaking our vow with silence, this past Monday. So you can find me on Anchor FM, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find No Fuck Given. That's hashtag NOFAUXGIVN. Look for the evil panda.
All right. Hope, where can I find you at?
Yes, I am very simple. I am on Twitter and IG right now. Hope you smile. If/when I do get a podcast, I'll definitely plug that in there.
And Ajaya.
Yes, you can find me at ajayadivine.com. I'm YouTube. I'm getting back on my YouTube thing. And Infinite Beings Unite podcast, Spotify, Apple, and them ain't fucking with me. I don't know why, but they have not accepted my shit yet. But you can find me on Spotify and Anchor. So that's where I be.
And you can find me where you found me at. Make sure that you like, subscribe, slander, and cancel me. Thank you, everyone, for your time, for pulling up. I appreciate the conversation.
Yes.
We should catch up back in. Peace.